म्यादृतम अल्पम अर्थवत् सभाजन जयन सन निभृतेन चेतसा जगात सत्रायण सर्वदर्शनः. Translation. Sri Suta Goswami said, O great sage Saunaka, after hearing Maharaj Parikshit speak respectfully and briefly on topics essential to hear, Shukdev Goswami, who was well aware of everything, praised his endeavor with great pleasure and replied. I will read the further shlokas also because I have been asked to speak till 28. Shishuka Uvacha हतपुत्रादिति शक्र पार्ष्णि ग्राहेण विष्णुना मन्युना शोकदीप्तेन ज्वलन्ति पर्यचिन्तयात्. Shri Sukdev Goswami said, just to help Indra, Lord Vishnu killed the two brothers Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. Because of their being killed, their mother Diti, overwhelmed with lamentation and anger, contemplated as follows. Text 24. कदानु भ्रातृर्हन्तारम् इन्द्रियारामम् उल्बणम् अक्लिन्न हृदयं पापं घातयित्वा शये सुखम. Translation. Lord Indra, who is very much fond of sense gratification, has killed the two brothers Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu by means of Lord Vishnu. Therefore, Indra is cruel, hard-hearted and sinful. When will I, having killed him, rest with a pacified mind? Shloka 25. Krimi vid bhasma samnyasit yasyesha abhihitasya cha bhutadhruk tat krite swartham kim veda nirayo yatah. Translation. When dead, the bodies of all the rulers known as kings and great leaders will be transformed into worms, stools, and ashes. If one enviously kills others for the protection of such a body, does he actually know the true interest of life? Certainly he does not. For if one is envious of other entities, he surely goes to hell. Shloka 26. आशशानस्य तस्येदं ध्रुवम् उन्नधा चेतस मोद शशक शोषक इंद्रस्य भूयात येन सुतो हि मे. Translation. Diti thought, Indra considers his body eternal and thus he has become unrestrained. I therefore wish to have a son who can remove Indra's madness. Let me adopt some means to help me in this. Text 27 and 28. Iti bhavena sa bhartur achachara asakrit priyam शुश्रूषा शुश्रूषाया अनुरागेन प्रश्रयेण दमेन च भक्त्या परमया राजन् मनोज्ञैर्वल्गुभाषितै मनोजग्राह भावज्ञ सस्मिता अpango वीक्षणै. Translation. Thinking in this way, with a desire for a son to kill Indra, Diti began constantly acting to satisfy Kashyapa by her pleasing behavior. O king, Diti always carried out Kashyapa's order very faithfully as he desired, with service, love, humility, and control, with words spoken very sweetly to satisfy her husband, and with smiles and glances at him. Diti attracted his mind and brought it under her control. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः. श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं. वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजन सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna. So, I first of all welcome everyone for the present Bhagavatam class. So, till now, we came to the episode where uh, after Vritrasura, Shukdev Goswami is continuing to describe the progeny of the progeny of Daksha Prajapati. Who were their daughters and how many progeny happened thereafter. So, in that process, he was describing about the progeny of Aditi and then Diti. While describing the progeny of Diti, the mother of Daityas and Rakshasas, she started to, Shukdev Goswami started speaking about how the 49 sons of Diti later on become demigods and achieved the post of demigods. So hearing this, Parikshit Maharaj became very curious to know that by nature the children of Diti were asuric in nature. How is it possible for them to achieve the post of demigods? That was his doubt. So he asked this doubt to Shukdev Goswami. And being pleased with the question, Shukdev Goswami then started to narrate about the pastime of Diti planning to kill Indra. And in that process, he achieved 49 sons named Marutas. So the episode will come in future. You will get to know everything in detail. So here, what happened is very interesting. After the Samudra Manthan Leela, uh, the demigods destroyed Asuras. And by the grace of Shukracharya, again the Asuras defeated all the Devatas. Such that the Devatas were running here and there, seeking shelter, hiding somewhere, without any proper residential places. So, seeing this, Mother Aditi became very much uh, disturbed in her mind that seeing that her own children's and grandchildren's were very much troubled. So, she approached her husband, Kashyapa Rishi. Kashyap also had one more wife named Diti, who is the mother of the Asuras. See, there are two wives. One is Aditi and another is Diti. And the children of both the wives were always against each other. Now here the Kashyap is in the fix. What to do? Because if he takes the side of anyone, the anyway the other person will be into the enemy's position. But who will actually lose? He himself will be going to lose. So Aditi, she had many sons, but all these devatas were now being defeated. So she wanted a son by which the devatas will again reinstate in the post of the demigods. They will again achieve the Swarga planet. And she asked Kashyapa to help her in gaining that thing. So Kashyapa advises Aditi to worship Lord Vishnu with a Payovrata. And we know that by performing Payovrata, she achieved Supreme Personal Godhead Lord Vamandev as her son. And the episode is that Lord Vamandev took away everything, all the three worlds, by three steps. So in that way, the Asuras, the Daityas were again defeated. So seeing those things, now Diti became very much angry. She started to think initially, my two children, Hiranyaksh and Hiranyakashipu, were being killed by same Vishnu, because Vishnu is always carrying out the request of Indra. And here again, my great grandson, which was Bali Maharaj, he was again defeated by Lord Vishnu, again at the request of Indra. So she was very much aggrieved, because she was thinking it is Indra who is responsible for the uh, unfortunate situation of my family members. And she thought I should take revenge. It is because Indra who is responsible for all this thing. She never complained Lord Vishnu for all the actions, but she always said it is Indra who is responsible. And as we all know that uh, in previous chapters, we see that Lord Vishnu is always taking sides of demigods. And the same question was asked by Parishit Maharaj also, that it appears that the Lord is partial. He always takes sides to Indra. So Diti also was thinking that Indra somehow or other convinces Lord Vishnu, and Vishnu performs uh, all the actions on the request of Indra. So if Indra is not there, then my children will be secured. So she also wanted to perform a kind of a vrata by which she will also get a son who will kill Indra. So here we see the two sisters wanted to kill each other's children by approaching the same father. So it is a very precarious situation. Sometimes, in the mood of envy and hatred, one forgets what one wants to achieve, what ultimately he is going to achieve. There is one situation whenever you go for a preaching outside, so there is always the situation arises and people come with many questions. There is one elderly Prabhuji who was in his retirement age, almost 65 or 70 years age. He once approached me and he was started explaining that, Prabhuji, this the whole house is now destroyed because of the ego of these two women. I said, what happened? My wife and my daughter-in-law, they are not in good terms with each other. They're always fighting, and they want to stay separate. Nobody can see each other face, and always fighting and shouting and cursing each other. And because of that, my situation is getting very much worse. I said, what happened to you? They are fighting. Why it is disturbing you? He said, I have created such a big bungalow, such a big house, so that I thought that whole life I have worked hard, earned money, and thought that when I sacrificed my entire life to achieve this position, by which I thought that I may not have spent proper time with my children, but let me spend some time with my grandchildren. I created such a big house, but now they are fighting with each other. Now they are saying that we don't want to stay with each other. He was saying that both were adamant about their own ambition, but nobody is thinking about me. She says, I don't want to stay with my mother in law. The other says, I don't want to stay with my daughter in law. But nobody is asking me with whom I want to stay. Both of them were thinking about their own, not thinking, not caring that what will happen to me. How selfish these people are. Thinking about their own satisfaction, about their self interest, and forgetting about other people. They didn't even ask my son what he wants. My son loves me very much, and I love my son very much. But because of the fighting between these two women, my whole peaceful atmosphere of my house has been destroyed. So he was very much upset by that. And I said that please bring your wife sometime to the program. We will talk sometimes. So one day, both uh, the not both husband and wife both came to the program, and again that old lady, she was saying, I cannot tolerate her behavior, so I don't want to stay with her. It is either she or I will remain in the house, or I will run away somewhere. I will kill myself. So such kind of her attitude was. I said that it is easy to run away or to stay away, but just think what will be benefiting to you. By fighting among each other, nobody is going to remain happy. I said, you are thinking that I don't need anyone. I can do whatever I want. I have good health, good physique right now. But have you ever thought that now you are having energy in your body, you are physically healthy, but what will happen after 10, 15 years when your body will become old and you will not be able to do much thing? At that time, you will need some help. Who will look after you in that old age? It will be your daughter-in-law. You may say that I will bring some maid from outside, I will pay her, and in that way, my old age will go very nicely. But it is not like that. It's always the close relatives and close people only who naturally and happily looks after us. It is only thing that we have to cooperate. That's all. If we don't cooperate, later Krishna will punish us in such a way that we will be forced to cooperate. I was trying to tell her that now you have healthy body, but after some years, when you will get sick, you will not be able to handle many things in the house. That time you have to forcefully go in front of your daughter-in-law and beg for her help. Will that be good for you? What will happen to your ego at that time? So she was started thinking. Yes, it is always seen like that कि अभी मेरे शरीर में ताकत है, मुझे किसी की जरूरत नहीं है. But in old age, what will happen? And the same thing to the daughter-in-law also. She may think that I don't need anyone, but it is always seen that the children's, if they are not taken proper care of, if we send them, presently we see the husband and wife both do generally job outside, and children stay at home alone. Who is their guardian? The TV, that is the guardian for them. What they see, the Cartoon Network. What in the Cartoon Network they see? Shin Chan, Doraemon, Pokemon, every born and dawn they see. What they learn from that? Nonsense. But if grandparents are there in the house who looks after the grandchildren's, naturally the proper sanskar and culture will come to them. And even the parents will be without worry that they will this understand that my children are in good hands. So for both of them, daughter-in-law and mother-in-law, the situation is win-win situation if both stay together. Only thing is that ego has to be removed. But ego is such a thing that it overcomes all the intelligence. Similarly, we see here Diti and Aditi, such a big ego. We may say that Aditi is not egoistic. She is the mother of the Devatas. It may appear like that, but again, she is also taking side of her children's. Diti, she has lot of ego, and she is thinking my Aditi is my biggest enemy. So it is a question of perception, how you are perceiving other person in your life. Is he or she really your enemy, or it is just your perception? That's what you have to think. There is one wonderful uh, incident happened. How Diti changed her thoughts. We will read in future that when Diti was performing her vrata, Indra came to serve, but with an ulterior motive, so that when Diti performs some mistake in her vrat, she will kill her son. But Indra, even though he had an ulterior motive, he presenting himself in such a way as a humble servant. And Diti also thought, let him serve me. I will take all the services and I will use my son to kill him only. But because she was engaged in the devotional service, in the practice of that vrata, slowly her desire overcome. And she forgot about killing Indra. Because she saw that how faithfully Indra is serving, how humbly he is serving. Whereas both of them were enemies in one sense. Indra wanted to kill her child and she wanted to kill Indra. Both were into opposite terms. But when Diti saw that how humbly he is serving, her heart changed. Also, because of the power of devotional service, she forgot about killing Indra. Her envious nature removed. So we see here, even though there is an enmity between both of them, because she was engaged into devotional activities, her desire, her enviousness was removed. There is one story, there is one story you can say that sometimes when two people are not in common term with each other, how by taking a humble position can solve all the matter. It is always just a matter of ego and mind issues, which which spoils the relationship. One nice story which I have heard, I'll just try to recite that. There is one. There is always a fighting between mother-in-law and daughter-in-law. As usual, it is a common thing everywhere. So one day, daughter-in-law becoming very angry, she visited her friend. Her friend was a very renowned doctor. So she visited her friend and said, give me such a medicine that I will kill my mother-in-law in such a way that nobody can identify me. I want to kill her. So upset with her. The doctor friend asked, why? What happened? And she explained all the story that how my mother-in-law is such a bad person. I cannot stand with her. And so many big stories she started to say. Doctor understood and said, okay, this is one medicine. It is a poison, but it is a slow poison. What you have to do? Put only 2 drops of this poison in her food. Slowly, slowly, that poison will act. She will not die immediately. And even doctor will not be able to identify, or the police will not also be able to identify what killed her. People will think she died naturally. But till that time, your mother-in-law should not make become suspicious about your behavior. So you should serve her very faithfully, very nicely, so that she will not be suspicious. The daughter-in-law said, yes, this is a good idea. She took the medicine and went home. And the same thing happened. Mother-in-law started shouting, scolding, finding out all the faults. But now the daughter-in-law is thinking, I have to kill her. So she started behaving in such a humble way, respectfully serving her mother-in-law and putting 2 drops of poison every time. And very pleasingly, she is serving her mother-in-law. Mother-in-law also thought, what happened to my daughter? She is not reacting as usual. But daughter-in-law having something different play in her mind. So she started to continually serve her mother-in-law in a very humble, peaceful, and with a very smiling face, and at the same time putting 2 drops of poison every time in her lunch. Slowly, slowly, mother-in-law started thinking, my daughter has transformed completely. She is not at all reacting. It is me only who is always very much against my daughter-in-law. She is so nice. She is such a nice daughter. She is as good as my daughter. Why should I fight with her? So slowly, slowly, seeing the behavior of daughter-in-law, mother-in-law also started thinking that I should not fight with her. She is such a humble person. She has transformed. So why should I continue fighting with her? So slowly, slowly, mother-in-law also become very sober. And it becomes such a situation that mother-in-law started loving her daughter-in-law more than her daughter. And whenever some guest come in their house, mother-in-law used to glorify her daughter-in-law such a way that daughter-in-law thought, oh, my mother-in-law has changed so much. It is I who was thinking her as my enemy, but she's such a wonderful lady. I didn't recognize her behavior. It is I who was culprit, not understanding my mother-in-law properly. But what can be done? The poison she is administering every day, she became very upset. She again ran to her friend, doctor friend, and said, give me some other medicine. I don't want my mother-in-law to die. Give me some medicine by which that poisonous effect will be counteracted. The doctor said, what happened? Previously you wanted to kill your mother-in-law. Now you wanted to save her. Why? She said, I misunderstood her. She's such a wonderful lady. The doctor friend said, I never give you the poison. The medicine which I gave, it is just a water droplets was there. It was a normal water. It is just because you two were so against each other that you are not able to find good things in each other. Because of your good behavior, she transformed. And because of her transformation, you also got transformed. So it is mostly because of the each other's ego that is causing the issues. I don't want to serve her. I don't want to see her face. It is just an ego. It may happen that somebody may be against with you. But if you always remain humble and cooperative always, naturally the other person's heart will melt. And in that way, slowly, slowly, the situation will change. And both of you start to come together with on a common term. So the same situation happened with Diti and Indra again. Because Indra served so humbly and nicely, Diti started thinking, oh, he's such a nice person. Again, here the main factor that played a nice role was devotional service. Since Diti was performing that vrata, which is very much pleasing to the Lord Vishnu, the, the bhakti had transformed her heart. At the same time, Indra's humble behavior also made her heart transform. So that is how we can help overcome uh, if there is any relationship issue. Again, in this story, we again see that Diti was cursing Indra in the initial part. He was saying that Indra is such a person that he is so much engrossed in bodily concept of life that he thinks that his body is all in all. But ultimately, when the body is dead, everything is useless. It is just a dust. So why people are so much attached to their bodily necessities when ultimately everything is going to get destroyed? Why somebody makes somebody's enemy when you are not permanent in this world? She is saying everything but not acting on that. She is cursing Indra in that way, but she forget the same thing applies to her also. That is how the people are. Even when Hiranyaksha died, the Hiranyakashipu started to console the relatives of Hiranyaksha by speaking the philosophy of Atma, the permanency of Atma and impermanency of the body. It appeared as if Bhagavad Gita is being taught there. Hiranyakashipu is speaking Bhagavad Gita philosophy to Hiranyaksha relatives. So if somebody is speaking big philosophy, that doesn't mean that he's the right person. Even Hiranyakashipu was speaking the philosophy of the soul and body and impermanent nature of this material world. But that doesn't change the heart of the Hiranyakashipu. Similarly, Diti is also speaking the same way. The impermanent nature of the body, uh, the real aim of the life. She may be speaking in that way, but she herself doesn't realize its importance. So it is just like uh, for us, Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu are demons. We may think in that way, but for a mother, it is different. Mother never thinks their children to be asuric in nature. They always see, oh, my children are like two demigods. They are like Ganesha and Kartika, or similar like that. They never see faults in their own children. Similarly, Diti, being so much in affection with her children, that she never thought about fault in her own sons. And she has thought all the faults about Indra. Now, here also the question arises that if Indra is, he also commits mistakes, but we always see that Lord Vishnu always take a side of the Devatas only. Why it is so? It it so appear that as much as the Asuras are culprit, even the Indra also does the same thing. He is also not in the good. He is also not in a good position of sense control. But why every time we see that Lord Vishnu takes side of the Devatas? The reason is that there is a difference between Devatas and Asuras. The Devatas are serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whereas Asuras are serving their own sense gratification, their own ambitions. The Devatas, even though they are surrounded by the sense gratification objects, they are still serving the Supreme Lord. And the Supreme Lord understand that even if there is a slip in their actions, they are ultimately going to come back to them only. we see that whenever the Indra commit mistakes, whenever Indra realizes his mistake, he approaches the Supreme Lord and asks forgiveness. Whereas the Asuras doesn't do that. They don't accept their mistake itself. Whereas Indra realizes his mistake and asks forgiveness. So that is the greatest point the Devatas have. Similarly, while practicing bhakti, the as Prabhupada said, the Vaishnavas are like Devatas in this earthly planet. But if the Devatas become engrossed into sense gratificated activity, they will be punished. But because they are servant of the Supreme Lord, and if they ask forgiveness from the Supreme Lord, they will be forgiven. It is quite natural for a devotee to get deviated by Maya's influence. It is quite natural. It is not that we all are able to overcome Maya so easily. It is quite possible for a person who is practicing Krishna consciousness get affected by influence of Maya. And we may commit mistakes. But what is more important? What we do when we realize that we have committed mistake. Will we justify our mistake, or are we going to accept the mistake and make forgiveness from the Supreme Lord? That defines our behavior. So, mistakes will happen. What is important is that are we going to rectify that mistake or are we going to justify that mistake? That is the only thing. When we try to rectify the mistake, Krishna will certainly will be pleased and he will forgive us. But if we try to justify our mistake by saying मैं क्या कर सकता था, मेरी कोई गलती नहीं थी, वो सिचुएशन ही वैसा था, so Krishna will not be pleased with that. So the best nature of the Indra was he realizes his mistake and approaches the Supreme Lord to beg forgiveness. And that's why that is a good quality in Indra, which we have to learn as a devotee. Okay. After this, there is one more incident that comes. That is, Diti approaches Kashyap Rishi and asks and express her desire. And how she expresses her desire? Not directly. She approaches him with a very submissive mood, in such a way that as if it is written here, I will just try to read. Diti always carried out Kashyapa's order very faithfully, as he desired, with service, love, humility, and control, with words spoken very sweetly to satisfy her husband, and with smiles and glances at him. Diti attracted his mind and brought it under her control. So, how Diti pleased her husband is very instructing to us. That sometimes uh, ati ati prem chorera lakshan, when there is lot of somebody is doing lot of services, trying to please you a lot by his humble and service behavior, which is not generally a natural thing, then we generally try to become suspicious. Oh, why is doing so much service? Why is so humble? There must be something ulterior motive. So here also, Diti served her husband so nicely that Kashyapa thought, oh, she is very submissive. And he came under her trick and asked him to give a son. Realizing that, Kashyapa becomes so frustrated, saying that how I can come under her tricky behavior. Why didn't I realize that? But Kashyapa also tricked her by giving her such a vrata to follow, that will be very, very difficult for her to execute. And there is always will be a chance that she may commit a mistake in following that vrata. So here we can see that whether whatever may be the situation, Kashyapa gave Diti the process of devotional service. Kashyapa understood the mindset of Diti, and he understand that her mindset is very nasty. But what could be the solution? The solution is Krishna consciousness only. So as a devotee, we have to also understand that whatever may be the situation, just try to give Krishna consciousness to others. Rest, everything will be taken care of. Sometimes, initially, when I was very new in Krishna consciousness, I was being told that we should not ask anything from the Supreme Lord. We should do Niswartha Seva, Niswartha Bhakti, Nishkam Bhakti we should do. Don't ask anything from the Supreme Lord. And sometimes I used to hear the senior devotees saying, "Oh, you want to, you are getting less marks in your exams? Just chant Hari Nam, just chant Hare Krishna, and you will get good marks." And somebody is not getting any job proper job, and he's having some problems in financial issues. The senior devotee used to say, "Just chant Hare Krishna, and Krishna will take care of everything." I used to become very much upset by that, by saying that you are using Harinam for material gains and benefits. It is wrong. It should not happen in that way. But later, when I read this incident, this part, I realized that Prabhupada in the purport also says, Kamova akamova, moksha kama udaradi, tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusha param. Whether you have desire or no desire, whether you have a desire for liberation, just engage yourself in Krishna conscious services. By performing serious bhakti, all of your desire will be fulfilled in such a way that your heart will be purified and eventually you go back home, back to Godhead. Even Dhruva Maharaj's story is the same thing. He approached the Supreme Lord with a desire, material desire. But by practicing bhakti in a intense manner, under the direction of Narad Muni, he achieved the Supreme Lord. So sometimes it may appear that when somebody comes and asks, "Oh, take this, chant Harinam, and everything will be taken care of," it appears very lofty thing. How Harinam will help materially per person? So it is up to Krishna how he want to help that person. But we should take all the opportunity to 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 take that conditioned soul to take to the holy name of the Lord. It is Krishna's behave. It is Krishna's thought how he want to help him in his progress. Our our aim should be to give them Krishna consciousness in whatever way possible. If somebody is a student, ask him to chant Hare Krishna and you will get good marks. If somebody is searching for a job or issue, ask him, chant Hare Krishna, you will get good marks. Good job. If somebody is having family issue, ask him to chant Hare Krishna. All your problems will be solved. It may appear that we are trying to cheat that person, but this kind of cheating is good because eventually Krishna's holy name will act in a miraculous way, and we may never know how it is going to act. So similarly, Kashyapa also thought in the same way, and thinking that he gave her the process of devotional service, even though her desire were impure, but still by practicing Krishna consciousness, she became purified and eventually she gave up the thought of killing Indra. So that is how a devotee is smart enough to yena kena prakarena mana Krishna niveshayat. In whatever way possible, engage everyone in chanting Hare Krishna, and everything will be taken care of. So that those are the things which I thought of speaking. So we will stop here. I hope there are no questions. Yes? Yes, all the questions will be answered by chanting Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu. हरे कृष्णा शिल प्रभुपाद की जय श्रीमद् भागवत महापुराण की जय हरे कृष्णा लोक माहिती आणले ना